Hey everyone, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. My name is Hrabchak, and in today's video, we've got some more off-season Winnipeg Jets content for you. I'm going to be ranking my top 5 Winnipeg Jets prospects. Now, this is part 2. If you want to check out which prospects I ranked 10 through 6, go check out part 1. That is up on the channel already. But for this video, my top 5 Winnipeg Jets prospects, let's get right into it, starting with number 5. Coming in at number 5 on this list is Kieron Walton, who wasn't even in my top 10 when I did this ranking last year, but he had a year that forced his way into the top 5. 92 points in 66 games for the Sudbury Wolves of the Ontario Hockey League, including 38 goals and 54 assists. Walton is a 6'6", 215-pound center who's got incredible hands, uses his reach incredibly well, and is a great skater at 6'6", 215. So Kieron Walton has a ton of potential, a ton of upside. He was a 6th round pick for the Winnipeg Jets in the 2024 NHL entry draft, and they have to be feeling pretty good about that right now. One thing to take note is usually in junior, when you see these massive point spikes year over year for certain players, it's because they were on a dominant team and kind of just rode with some great players, some highly drafted players. That was not the case with Kieron Walton. He had 92 points. The second closest player on the Sudbury Wolves had 70. The third closest had 59. So this was not a situation where Kieron Walton was just playing on a very good team. He was driving the offense for this Sudbury team. And going into next year, he'll look to follow it up as he's going back to Sudbury. He's not quite 20 years old, so he can't play in the AHL quite yet, but he's got one more year of junior where he will look to follow up this incredible season where he put up 92 points in 66 games. One final note on Kieron Walton. Earlier on this month at development camp, we asked him which player he models his game after, and he said Tage Thompson. And Tage Thompson is widely regarded across the NHL as a unicorn. He's scored over 40 goals in multiple seasons. He's a 6'6" center with incredible skill, incredible reach, an incredible shot. And if Kieron Walton can become even 80% of the player Tage Thompson is as a 6th round pick, I think that would be a huge win for the Winnipeg Jets organization. So Kieron Walton modeling his game after the other 6'6" center in the NHL, Tage Thompson, I think is a good sign for Jets fans. And we'll see how Kieron Walton follows up this massive breakout season with his final year in junior. Coming in at number 4 on my Winnipeg Jets prospect rankings list is Nikita Chibrikov, who just wrapped up his 2nd season with the Manitoba Moose and looks primed to make the jump to the NHL at any moment now. He's 22 years old, coming off a season where he had 30 games played, 18 points, 7 goals, and 11 assists, and even played 4 games with the Winnipeg Jets last year, scoring 2 goals in those 4 games. He's a very tenacious forechecker, brings a ton of energy, and when he gets space in the offensive zone, he has a very strong shot that can beat goaltenders clean, that we even saw that a little bit with the Winnipeg Jets in the NHL last season. Now, unfortunately, his season was cut short due to a long-term lower body knee injury late in the Manitoba Moose season, so he's going to spend most of his offseason recovering from that injury, and we'll see how he looks once training camp begins in September. Like I said, I think he's a player that can make the jump in a bottom 6 or middle 6 role to the NHL any moment now, but it is yet to be seen how he recovers from that knee injury. So keep an eye out for Nikita Chibrikov, number 4 on my prospect rankings list. Has a very high floor as a prospect, and the Jets are likely happy with the value they got drafting him in the 2nd round of the 2021 draft. Look for him to become a Winnipeg Jet in the near future. Last thing on Chibrikov, the reason I have him ranked number 4 is because while I do think he'll become an effective NHLer in the very near future, I don't believe he has the same upside or potential as the top 3 players on this list that I'm about to get into. So I do think, a bottom 6, middle 6 ceiling is where Chibrikov is at right now, and I think he'll hit that comfortably. He's a high floor prospect, but I don't think he quite has the star potential that these top 3 prospects have. So I think there's a pretty decent tier gap between Chibrikov and the top 3. Let's get into the top 3 now. Coming in at number 3 on my list is Brad Lambert, who's another prospect who just wrapped up their 2nd full season with the Manitoba Moose of the American Hockey League. and a player that I still think has an incredible amount of upside. Now, if you take a look at Brad Lambert's box score counting stats, you'd think that he took a significant step backwards as a prospect this last season. I mean, 2023-24, he had 55 points in 64 games with the Moose. This past season, he had 35 points in 61 games, 7 of those being goals. So he went from 21 goals the year before to 7 this past year with the Manitoba Moose. But it's definitely worth noting that the Manitoba Moose were 31st in the AHL this past season. So the situation around Brad Lambert got significantly worse from 2023-24 to this past season, and I still think he has incredible upside as a prospect. I also think that Brad Lambert will be playing games with the Winnipeg Jets this next season. With the loss of Nikolai Ehlers, I think they're going to be more willing to give him a bit of a runway in the top 6, in the middle 6 with the Winnipeg Jets. And going into training camp, he has an incredible opportunity to win a job, much like he did last year with the Winnipeg Jets. Last year, of course, spent the majority of the season with the Manitoba Moose, but Brad Lambert still comes in my top 3. I think the counting stats this year were more of the situation around him rather than him taking a step back as a prospect, and the upside is there. So we know Brad Lambert has the speed. The Jets, with the loss of Nikolai Ehlers, might be a slower team next year. They might be looking for more team speed. That is a door that could open for Brad Lambert. He's got the skill. Is he a center? Is he a winger? I know he moved to the wing with the Manitoba Moose last year as well. Time will tell what position he plays in the NHL, but I don't think you should be giving up on Brad Lambert as a prospect. The upside is very much still there, and I think he will be an impact player for the Winnipeg Jets in the future. Now, before I get into my top 2 Winnipeg Jets prospects, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you've hit the like button down below, hit that subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss all of the Winnipeg Jets offseason content we've got coming for you right here at Winnipeg Sports Talk. And drop a comment down below. Which player do you think is too high, too low? Who's your top Winnipeg Jets prospect? Let's get into my top 2 right now. My number 2 Winnipeg Jets prospect is Brayden Yager, who the Winnipeg Jets acquired last offseason in that prospect swap between him and Rutger McGroarty to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this past year, Brayden Yager split time between the Moose Jaw Warriors and the Lethbridge Hurricanes after he was traded mid-season and had a very productive year. 54 games played between the two teams, was a +5, 82 points with 25 goals. And Brayden Yager's claim to fame is that he's a very responsible 200-foot player. And when you're putting up 82 points as a defensively responsible center, that to me screams high floor prospect. I think Brayden Yager has the highest floor of any Winnipeg Jets prospect, even higher than my number 1 prospect on this list. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he will be an NHL player and an impact one day. This upcoming season is going to be a big one. He's going to be playing with the Manitoba Moose as he is 20 years old. So he's making the pro jump in the AHL with the Manitoba Moose. A huge year for Brayden Yager. And like I said, his claim to fame is that he's a defensively responsible 200-foot player. And can he still produce at the pro level while keeping those details of his game intact? He's got some great passing skills as well, as you can see with the 57 assists this past year. And when you give him time and space in the offensive zone, he's got a pretty decent shot as well. So Brayden Yager, kind of the full package at center, defensively responsible, can put up points, is a good passer, a good skater as well. There's no real glaring weaknesses in Yager's game, and I think that makes him a very high floor prospect and is the main reason why he's the number 2 prospect on my top 10 Winnipeg Jets prospect list. Another positive sign with Yager is that he's been viewed as a leader in multiple different places. He was an assistant captain for 2 years with the Moose Jaw Warriors before becoming their captain this past season. Then he was traded to Lethbridge, but this past season as well at the World Junior Hockey Championships, he was the captain of Team Canada. So he is a player that is well respected by his teammates, liked in the locker room, and like I said, on the ice, very defensively responsible, great details in his game, no glaring weaknesses, and a very high floor. And while it's unlikely he makes the Winnipeg Jets right out of training camp this year, that is still a possibility. I do think he'll spend this entire season with the Manitoba Moose as he makes the pro leap and looking to remain a productive defensive center at the AHL level. My top Winnipeg Jets prospect is Elias Salomonsson. Salomonsson is a 6'2", 185-pound right shot defenseman. He's an incredibly smooth skater. He's a great puck mover. He can play with some physicality, clear the front of the net, And that gives him a very high floor as a prospect, much like Brayden Yager, albeit Salomonsson being a defenseman. The reason I have him number one on this list is I think he is the highest ceiling of any Winnipeg Jets prospect. I think he has true top four defenseman potential coming off this past season with the Manitoba Moose. He had played 53 games. He had 27 points. Like I said, showed all of the signs that you'd want to see in a player's first pro season. This upcoming year, he won't be starting the year with the Winnipeg Jets, barring a trade on the Jets, because they have 9 defensemen currently under contract. But the following season, I could totally see Salomonsson stepping into a third pairing role and working his way up the lineup from there. Scott O'Neill was asked about Salomonsson prior to the NHL draft this past season, and he outlined Dylan Samberg as a player that he should look to as inspiration once he gets to the NHL level. Now, Samberg was a second-round pick. Salomonsson was also a second-round pick, and Salomonsson is going to follow a very similar development path to Dylan Samberg, and that worked out pretty well for Samberg. So if Salomonsson can become a right-shot Dylan Samberg, which I truly think he has the potential to do, that would be a very, very big development for the Winnipeg Jets franchise. So Elias Salomonsson, the highest ceiling and a very high floor of any Winnipeg Jets prospect. He is my number one prospect for the Winnipeg Jets farm system. That's going to do it for my top 10 Winnipeg Jets prospect list. If you haven't checked out part 1, it's on the channel right now. I ranked prospects 10 through 6, and in this video, 5 through 1. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button down below and drop a comment. Which prospect did I have too high? Which one did I have too low? And until next time, enjoy the offseason, everyone, and we'll be bringing you some more Winnipeg Jets offseason content right here on WST.